And these people still stay connected, and they love to talk to people from St. Stephen's and alums. So I just want you to know that as you go through life and you're going to run into people, this connection is going to mean a lot to you. As far as being alums, what I hope you'll do is stay in touch with me and the school. And there's lots of ways to do that. As you know, we have the Trustee magazine. And, you know, when I was a student, and I did go to a school like St. Stephen's, and I know when I was a student, I didn't look at the magazine because I was living it. But when you do look at it now, you'll see that there's just copious amounts of class notes and pictures about what alums are doing, and they love to check back with the faculty, and your teachers love to hear what happens for you in the future. So I hope you'll do that and send me news and come and visit when you're in town. We've got a new way to help too. Ms. Schumann and I have been connecting seniors, some of you, with alumni that are off at different schools, so to help you make decisions if you're on the fence, or maybe if you're excited when you get in somewhere and you'd like to connect with an alum who's at that college or university, we'd like to help you with that too. I hope that you will be willing to come back for panels. You know how much I enjoy doing that. And I think you all, as students, have enjoyed seeing the alums come back and speak. So if anybody's interested in that, please let me know. I'd love to hook you up and have you come back. Down the road a bit, maybe when you're not busy at college anymore, we would love you to join the Alumni Council. That's a newer group that is trying to stay in touch, and they were working so hard to have a project for you guys. It was going to be an academic competition where we were going to pit some of you as students against the faculty, and then a panel of alumni, and make it like Ms. Palmer's academic banquets. And we were very excited, but clearly that's not going to happen this year, but hopefully it will in the future. And maybe you can come back if we do it around spring break and be on the alumni panel. So I don't want to go on any longer because we have a wonderful speaker who's here to talk to you. But I just wanted to say that stay in touch with each other. And, you've had this early separation, but all of your classmates are your friends, and this will be a relationship that will just build as the years go by. That one person who maybe sat alone under the steps in a chair a lot and maybe was a little bit alone, that person's going to find themselves in college, and you're all going to become something amazing. So I want you to stay in touch with each other and the school, because you are a huge part of our history. So now, without further ado, we have a wonderful gal, Hannah Howell. My first year at school, I met Hannah. We actually went with Mr. Yanelli on a Wall Street trip. She went on to Georgetown, where she played soccer. She was class president while she was at St. Stephen's, and was just kind of a dynamo. And I'm thrilled to have her back today to talk to you guys and give you a little of her wisdom. And I understand there might be a little surprise intro from a couple other of Howell alumni. We have Toby from 15, who graduated from Brown in 19, and we have Henry, who's at Davidson playing soccer up there and just having a grand old time. So I'm going to say goodbye, but just say that I'm sorry I didn't get to know you a little bit better towards the end of the year, because I often get to do that at some of your events. So I will miss you terribly, but I'm going to hand it over to Hannah Howell, class of 13.
Hi, everyone. We're actually Hannah's brothers. I'm Toby.
And I'm Henry, and we also went to St. Stephen's. So Hannah asked us to introduce her today, and we are very honored to do so.
So Hannah was a star in high school, but we wanted to give you the inside look at the sister behind the greatness.
I will tell you about some of Hannah's most impressive accomplishments.
And I'll explain what those accomplishments look like from our perspective.
So, to begin, Hannah was yearbook editor her senior year.
Which she basically just harassed her entire class for their senior photos all the time.
She was class vice president.
And we just wanted to know why she wasn't president.
She also won Vanity Herald Soccer Player of the Year.
And made Henry cry at least 10 times from nutmegging him in the yard.
She holds 6 separate track records to this day.
and often made me cry because she beat me so much.
She was elected Green Club president.
But she made us change all the light bulbs in the house to become more energy efficient.
She was also a member that was inducted into the Cum Laude Society.
But so was Henry, and that's all we talk about in our house.
And her proudest accomplishment of all, winning the Tropicana speech competition in 6th grade.
And I hope she remembers a thing or two for today's speech.
She has given us a countless amount of advice and made us turn out all right in the end, I guess. So
we couldn't be more proud to introduce our sister, Hannah.
I'm here. Thank you for the virtual clapping. I saw all three of you doing that. As Mrs. McFeely and my dear, dear brothers have said, I'm Hannah. I graduated in 2013, went on to Georgetown in DC, played soccer there, and majored in English and psychology. And now I live in New York. As you can see, all these beautiful buildings behind me. Nope, I'm currently living right next to you in Bradenton right now. But I am working for a New York-based startup named WeWork that sells commercial real estate. And it is one of the most controversial startups of all time. So we can have a separate speech if any of you would like to talk to me about that. But mostly, I'm so excited to be here today and put on a different hat, which is my alumni hat, and get to meet a lot of you virtually. I know like 4 in the crowd that are siblings of my friends of siblings, but I'm really excited to spend this time with you. So basically where I want to start is to say I'm sorry that it has to be this way. You know, I was graduation class of 2013. I think we graduated on Friday the 13th, and we were like, oh no, this does not bode well. This is feeling very unlucky. But I think that you guys might take the cake on that. It's a real bummer, and that's an understatement to have to go through the remainder of your senior year like this. But I've heard that you guys are heralding on with like lots of chutzpah, and you're really not letting it get you down. So very impressed. And I know that you feel like you're missing out on a lot of important times with a lot of people that have been so instrumental in your life, but there's a lot to be excited for. There's a lot to look forward to, and there's a lot to be excited about today. So basically, I am here because I am rooting for you. All the alumni are rooting for you, and I thought that today I could unpack a few questions that I had while I was sitting in your position not too long ago. So, I mean, the things running through my head consisted of like, how will I make friends? Who will my roommate be? And more impactful things like, am I ready for this? Like, have I been prepared? I know that I excelled at St. Stephen's, but like, will the same be true in college? I read a meme the other day, and I know that's never a good way to start off anything, but this meme said that it cited Merriam-Webster, so I think it's allowed to be cited in this speech. And that meme said the word unprecedented had been used more in 2020 than in any year before. And when I think about like these uncertain, unprecedented times, like it's not that far off from how I felt sitting in your position. Like, I think that there are higher odds stacked against you right now, but I think that the same thing that calmed me back in the day, which was I have set a very high precedent. You know, we as St. Stephen's students have already set a precedent of achievement, of being able to overcome obstacles. And this uncertainty, what certainty can I fall back on in my day-to-day that I know that I can accomplish? I know that I can make it through 7 periods a day. I know that I can juggle all of these things and these facts of life. So I think that what really brought me solace during that time when I was sitting in your seats was falling back on just looking back at the body of work that I had accumulated. And you guys have accumulated the same exact body. So you've set a precedent, even in these unprecedented times. So back to the questions that I really wanted answers to. Really, I wanted to know if in college or in life after, I was going to be able to handle it. Time management at St. Stephen's is out of control, guys. I look back, I said, I played 3 hours of sports after school every day. I woke up at 7 a.m. to make it to school every day. In college, I had 4 periods that I needed to attend over the week. You will have more time, more flexibility than you will know what to do with. And that time can be used, doing what you're really, really good at. So, I mean, I'm looking at Miss Khan on the screen right now. I think that she and a lot of other people know that math was not my strong suit. In college, I ended up writing 60-page papers. And that was a lot easier for me to do because it was a skill that I loved doing. It was something that I had honed. But when I had to take math and society, which was the intro level math class at Georgetown, which was about like calculating voting systems and city planning. It was really interesting math. I was able to go back to the foundations. I still had that foundation, even if it wasn't my strongest suit. St. Stephen's gave me the ability to fall back on all that information that I had learned. So basically, as far as stress goes, I think that the most stressed I've ever been is probably my senior year of high school in an academic setting. You guys don't understand how well prepared you are to handle these challenges that are going to befall you in college. So that's from an academic perspective. Another thing that I was really worried about was, oh my gosh, what am I going to do in life? You know, you hear Mrs. McFeely up here talking about the heralds of industry. Am I going to go work for Google? Am I going to be president of LinkedIn? I didn't even know what I wanted to major in. And I think that what I know now, and I wish someone had told me, is that, you know, maybe you aren't dead set. You don't know that you want to be a doctor. You don't know that you want to go to law school. And you just need to start putting tools in your tool belt. So my tools ended up being, I'm in sales now. So my tools ended up being able to perform on a deadline. I think that you guys have all had a deadline for a paper at St. Stephen's. I'm sure you'll have many more in college. It's a great skill to have, to learn how to calm yourself, focus on the task, get that task done. I use it every single day in my profession. Presentation skills. I mean, I don't know if this is the presentation skills that you want to foster, but learning how to speak in front of people. If you go to a school with small class sizes, you've already been prepared to share, to present, to participate in class. So many people at Georgetown did not feel comfortable speaking up because they had been in large high school classes that they could kind of skirt by and, shine in other ways. I think that St. Stephen's has really given you the tool to shine in a group setting. I think that also just group projects, like you guys have had to work together for 13 years. So, I mean, I had at a certain point in my tenure at St. Stephen's, I think I had rotated through every single person in my class in one group project or another. And being able to facilitate those types of interactions, like I do that every day again. I have to learn how to work with people, and that skill in college, being able to kind of step into that leadership role in a group, people will laud you 10 times over, and it will make you so much more valuable to a company, to your team, and you've already got that skill. So those are some skills. The third question on my mind was really around, like, is this going to change these relationships, these friendships, these mentorships with teachers that I've curated for, 13 years as a forever Falcon? And the short answer is yes. You will no longer live in Bradenton, most of you. I mean, it's going to change. And the long answer is no, not at all. These same people that were here to support you, your teachers, the alumni, your family, they are still going to be with you 10 times over. I know that in my freshman year, I would literally call up a guy from my class and say, hey, I just need you to proofread this paper. You know that I worked great editing with you in high school. Like, can we just sit on FaceTime and do this together really fast? He did that for me 10 times over, and I would have done the same for him. So you can support each other in that way. I think that also commiseration, like misery loves company. I remember it could be the smallest things. My dining hall food was really not up to snuff my freshman year, and I was struggling to make like cereals that I liked. It could be the stupidest issue in the world, but I had to call my friends. You know, Julian's sister. I called Alexis Cedillo. I said, "What are you doing to eat? Like, I don't know if this is going to work for me." And, you know, everyone's going through the same exact thing at the same exact time. You guys can find solace in that right now. I mean, you all are each other's best resources to help get through this really, really difficult time. And we're all so static and disparate right now. Lean on each other, like for the remainder of this year while this is really tough, and then lean on each other even more when you're further away, because it will really pay dividends. When you need to call someone up later for your career, when you need to call someone up to invite them to be in your wedding, you know, maintain those relationships. They're really important. And I think that it's worth highlighting just some of what my closest friends are doing, kind of to Lori's point, where, you know, the guy that I sat next to in literature class is now in San Francisco starting his own startup, like backed by Bitcoin. I had study hall with people that are working for Goldman Sachs in London. One of my fellow Forever Falcons is working for NASA, and another like owns an electric bike shop and is working on technological advances in that field. You know, my co-yearbook editor is working on the cancer wing in the Children's Hospital of Atlanta. A guy that I used to ride my bike to school with is now serving malnutrition rural populations in Haiti through a Doctors Without Borders program. And these are just like my close friends that I kept in contact with. There's so many different paths that they went down. And these are the same people that, you know, broke dress code every once in a while, like would button the cookie line. And these are just my nuclear friend group. So it's really like, I don't think I would have been looking around the room and being like, yep, that's an astronaut. Like, that's someone who's going to serve the greater good of humanity. I don't think that any of us really knew what was going to happen. We just knew that we were going to take the next step together and that we had really been set up for success. So if I had to leave you with one overall arching claim on all of this, it would be that continue to just set that precedent that you've set, which is excellence. St. Stephen's really doesn't let you get away with anything below that, for better or worse. And during this unprecedented time, just fall back on those certainties of life that you have established, that you know that you can accomplish. Build your tool belt and reach out to people. Reach out to me if you want to move to New York. Reach out to my friend if you want to move to London. Like, leverage us and leverage St. Stephen's, because it's the greatest gift that you'll ever get. That's it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Hannah.